In terms of consumer demand, organic has a strong presence now more than ever before, especially post-pandemic. People are looking for healthier options that aim to strengthen the immune system. So gluten-free to cage-free, shopping for food has added a sustainability factor to it. Joining us today is entrepreneur Mustafa Koita, the founder and CEO of Koita Foods. He founded the organic food company in 2013 with a mission to make healthy food more accessible for families in the MENA, Middle East, North Africa, South Asia region. A vision that is now set to take the homegrown FMCG brand global in other markets. So, hi and welcome, Mustafa, and he will start by presenting on Koita a bit first, and then we go into a question and answer.
Thanks for the intro. Really happy to be here. I've just got a couple of slides. We'll take a few minutes just to give you a sense of who Koita is. We're an organic dairy, lactose-free, and plant-based milk company. All of our products are produced in Italy. I'm not going to read through the slide, but I founded the company in Dubai. It's a 100% family-owned business. We produce in the north of Italy, and we export to around 10 countries around the world. It was really a company that was founded based on my passion for healthy eating and healthy living. And I have a bunch of kids, some spoiled kids who also like healthy foods, and sort of they inspired me to start the company. Just to give you an idea, we are an SME. We started in 2013 with just myself. We're now 31 employees. We started in one country. We're now in 10. We had 2 products. We now have 28. We had a small home office that's grown to 2,000 square feet, and we have employees now in 5 countries. The company's still 100% family owned. As any entrepreneur in the audience may know, I used to have hair. There's a lot of stress. I used to have hair back in the days. I'm totally bald now. And frankly, we weren't very well known when we started the company, and we've got some accolades that I'll talk about quickly. We're majority female management with a management team from 5 different nationalities. So we're very proud of our journey and the team that has helped build the company. We were just featured in the Wall Street Journal in the United States just a couple of months ago for some of our plant-based products which we've launched there. Harvard Business School did a case study about our company, and they teach the Koita Milk case study every year in Boston. And we just won a really great award in the United States for our organic almond and coconut called the Sophie. It's kind of like the Grammys of food over in the United States. So something that we're very, very proud of. Our customer base is, the 11 countries. We've got lots of accolades. We launched in the United States on Amazon Prime, and we're in some big retailers over there, and we're expanding soon. And the last slide is just to show you what we have. There are really 3 lines: organic dairy, organic lactose-free, and plant-based. So all in the organic, natural, healthy living sort of. Just give you a little bit of a background on myself. So, Menica?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, cool. You disappeared.
So that was a wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. So I just want to start off with some questions about what's in the Arabian consumer's shopping cart right now, especially since the pandemic hit, and now we're going towards the deep into the post-pandemic era, especially in the region. What has changed in the shopping cart of the Arabian consumer?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, so I think the shopping cart has evolved over the years, right? And I think what we've noticed as a company that's been selling to this natural and organic customer base for almost a decade now is that it's evolved, and there were trends that were happening. And when COVID hit, it just took those existing trends and made them happen faster. There aren't exactly new trends that are happening. And so we break down the audience population sort of into, there's a local population, there's the Levant population, there's an expat, a heavy Western population here. And so the expat population actually started driving some of this because, a lot of the trends that happen in the West come here. So I'll give you an example. In the US, in North America, there's 30% penetration for organic dairy within the dairy space, right? And so if you extrapolate those numbers here, you'll see that the penetration rates for people going from regular conventional dairy to organic dairy is in the single digits, So we've seen an increase in the consumer basket of organic dairy, and mostly milks and meats are the first to be adopted in any region. So we've seen the basket changing with a lot more organic dairy. But the point that I want to make is there's a lot of opportunity still to grow in that basket. The other trend that we've seen is we just did a research report alongside Tetra Pak. We interviewed a number of a couple thousand people here in the UAE, and we noticed that in the lactose-free market, that astonishing 24% of people here in the region indicated in this survey that they had a lactose intolerance, so they were feeling bloated. And 40% of them, more than the people that said they had lactose intolerance issues, said that they wanted to switch from regular to lactose-free. And I'm talking about the dairy space, but I think the same rules apply to some of the other products that have lactose in them. They're probably affected too. So we've seen a large lactose-free surge on the dairy side. And then the last area, and again, I can speak from data that we have from our company, is the plant-based space. I think the basket has a lot more vegan, is sort of the buzzword, plant-based, vegetarian products. So we actually saw a growth of almost 284% growth in plant-based products over the last 24 months. And I think, on the dairy space, it's mostly almond and oat are kind of the big items that you start seeing in people's baskets. And then I think the last thing that I would say is that the consumer's basket has also moved from being a physical basket to being an online basket. So that's another trend that we've seen. And online sales for us grew 370% in the last also 24 months. This is just the data that we cut from us. I think there's a lot of other great research and reports out there that'll probably show you a similar trend. So again, my point is the basket is moving towards healthier in a pretty fast way. It's moving from a traditional physical basket to an online basket, and you're seeing a mix of organic, lactose-free, and plants in those baskets. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, online has definitely taken over. We basically, even in my house, we just order all groceries and stuff from online now. So
yeah.
I think the pandemic really shifted the way people shop for groceries. But keeping that in mind, how important is packaging then? Because that's all you see online, right? That's one of the first things you do see online. So
yeah, I think packaging is key. Look, in my business, it's the packaging that gets someone to try your product, right? And it's the product, usually the taste and the nutritional functions that keep the customer, right? So your packaging continues to be extremely important. I think anyone in the FMCG industry knows that shape and color are still very critical. I think with packaging, one of the reasons I think we've done quite well is we listen to our consumers. We ask them and we test packaging with them constantly. We're very customer driven. We do a lot of focus groups, a lot of proprietary primary research. And we've noticed that in the healthy living space, people want to see on their packaging those key USPs that make the product healthy. You don't want to bury it on the back. You want to make it pretty evident on the front. Consumers are looking for certifications from accredited certification bodies. I'd say the UAE consumer is one of the most sophisticated consumers in the world. They really want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want value and they want all the great functions. So I would say, to answer your question, packaging is key, but the consumer wants to see very credible certifications. And I think the UAE has done a wonderful job with their certification bodies and being interoperable with the international certification bodies as well.
And what do you think is the future, like 5 years down the line, of these sort of products?
Oh, I wish I had this crystal ball to tell you this is where it's going to be in 5 years, because no one would have predicted COVID or anything like that. So if you find the crystal ball, please give it to me. I'd like to borrow it for a while. I can figure out, what's going on. But look, I think you're going to see a continued trend towards healthy. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think a lot of it has to do with consumer education. A lot of people are asking themselves, why am I paying double for organic? And they just see the word organic, but they don't understand why. They don't understand that an organic cow, right, doesn't have hormones pumped into it and can't pump as much milk out, unnaturally. The cost of feed, you have to feed organic cows organic feed. There's so many things so I think the future has a lot to do with how the industry, which I'm part of, and the organizations educate the consumer. But I think that trend is on its way, with an upward arrow. In business meetings, everyone wants to see upward arrows. So we see some upward arrows in those categories. But I think it's up to us to educate the consumer in the simplest way and the most credible way. But to answer your question, I see the basket growing. I think that's the future. I don't know at the rate. No one would have predicted COVID would have increased that rate and make things like immunity such an important issue. So those are some interesting things. But I see an upward arrow to answer your question.
Wonderful. We also have questions from the audience on pricing.
Sure.
So, what do you think will happen? I do notice that the pricing for such products has reduced quite a bit, but how will it compete with the regular products, and should it compete? Because I know so much more goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on a couple things, right? One is usually, the buying power of a country dictates it's like volume, right? So, when the overall organic milk space was very small, and the volumes were low on the supplier side, and the facings on the retailers were not as big as they are now, you had to have higher pricing. I think the consumer notices across the board that as more competitors come in, as more volume costing is achieved, the price will come down. Price will come down. And I think that's just a matter of time. What I've noticed, though, in the United States is you see massive volume upticks in organic or healthier versions when the price point is within around 30 to 35% of conventional, sort of the area that, you see a huge uptick in volume. We're not there yet, but I think eventually all the supply chains will have to support that. And that's a case of demand. Right now, during COVID, demand is very volatile. Logistics is very volatile. So we're going through a little bit of a tricky period, but I think pricing will lower as volume increases. So I would ask the consumer to buy more Koita so then I can reduce my prices, later on in the future. But jokes aside, that's, I think, for everyone in the industry. As the volume increases, price will go down.
Great. Thank you, Mustafa, for the session. And we really learned a lot from you. We've gleaned many insights on the shopping cart, and we also want that crystal ball that you
Yeah, let me know. Thanks so much. My one ask is if you want to ever get in touch with us, just follow us on Instagram at Koita Foods, KoitaFoods. If you don't know how foods is spelled, and you can always reach out to us there and ask us more questions. And it was a real pleasure being on your as part of your event.
Okay, thank you so much, Mustafa.
Okay, bye.